When Jet Set Radio hit the Sega Dreamcast in 2000, it wasn't just another video game. It was a cultural phenomenon, mixing aggressive inline skating, graffiti, hip-hop, and an unforgettable cel-shaded art style. It captured the rebellious energy of youth culture in a way no other game had. But where did it come from? Why did it resonate so deeply with certain people? And what has become of it today? Developed by Sega's Smilebit team, Jet Set Radio, also known as Jet Grind Radio in some areas of North America, was created as part of Sega's push to make the Dreamcast stand out with unique, stylish, and innovative games. The team wanted to craft something that felt fresh, something that embodied youth rebellion and underground culture. Inspired by real-life street skating and graffiti movements, the developers designed a world where players could bomb walls with spray paint while grinding across an urban playground, all set to a somewhat funky, high-energy soundtrack. The game's mechanics were loose and fluid, mimicking the style-over-technicality approach that many aggressive inline skaters embodied. Art director Ryuta Ueda aimed to create a game that reflected the vibrant and rebellious spirit of Tokyo's youth culture at the time. The design team also hired aggressive inline skaters like Chiaki Ito and Sayaka Yabe as the motion actors for the characters, adding an authentic and stylish look to the skaters in the game. The character designs were also influenced by the eclectic styles found in Tokyo neighborhoods like Shibuya and Harajuku, known for their dynamic street fashion scenes. This blend of influences contributed to the game's unique aesthetic and helped establish its cult following. In the late 90s and early 2000s, aggressive inline skating had built a strong connection to graffiti, hip-hop, and underground music scenes. Skaters weren't just hitting skate parks, they were grinding urban architecture, tagging walls, and making their own DIY skate spots in abandoned lots and city streets. Likewise, the game featured skaters roaming freely, evading authorities, tagging walls, and battling rival crews. This wasn't just a fantasy world, it was an exaggerated reflection of what many real-life skaters were experiencing at the time. The gameplay mechanics reinforced this. Players had to land stylish tricks and navigate tricky urban environments while tagging spots under pressure, much like real skaters who had to be quick and creative when hitting a new spot before someone like security showed up. But one of Jet Set Radio's most defining aspects was its soundtrack. The original soundtrack was an eclectic mix of electronic, breakbeat, and indie rock, reflecting the youth-driven chaos of the city streets at the time of its release in 2000. Hideki Naganuma, the game's lead composer, and local Japanese bands, as well as other various artists, were used for the original Japanese version of the game. This original Japanese version felt deeply local, rooted in Japan's youth counterculture, and it sounded genuinely weird, in all the right ways. When the game launched in North America and Europe in late 2000, Sega made some significant changes, especially to the music. To make the game more appealing to the Western audiences, the international version featured additional licensed music from US rock and industrial artists like Rob Zombie and Cold. These tracks gave the game a harder, more mainstream edge compared to the funkier Japanese originals. However, some of the Japanese songs people really did like, and there were some mixed reviews about them being taken out. The voice of Professor K, the game's DJ and narrator, was also dubbed in English for the international version, giving him a funkier, over-the-top persona that was more tailored for Western sensibilities. The game went on to become a cult classic and left an undeniable impact. The game's bold, cel-shaded art style was revolutionary at the time. It influenced later games like The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker, and games like Borderlands. Sega released a sequel, Jet Set Radio Future, in 2002 for the Xbox, which refined the gameplay and it expanded the world. However, after that, the franchise faded into obscurity. In 2012, Sega released an HD remaster of the original game for modern platforms, introducing a new generation to its unique style. But aside from occasional cameos and Sega crossover games, Jet Set Radio has remained relatively dormant with no official new installment for over 20 years. However, in 2023, Sega talked about reviving classic IPs, and Jet Set Radio was on that list. There still wasn't much news until 2025, when Sega confirmed there would be a release of Jet Set Radio to celebrate its 25th year anniversary, and they were an official sponsor of Blading Cup 2025 Europe and Montpellier, France, where them skates unveiled a collaborative Jet Set Radio skate built on them skates' new 901 shell with custom graphics straight out of the game, featuring characters like Professor K, Gum, and Piranha. With the success of indie games like Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which is heavily inspired by Jet Set Radio, there's proof that there's still demand for this kind of experience. If you want to see the gear or support the collab, head to themgoods.com. And if you dig content like this, hit that like button, subscribe, drop a comment. You can also check out our exclusive merch at honestexpression.org. We really appreciate the support. Did you ever get to play any of the original Jet Set Radio games? What was your favorite Jet Set Radio moment? Feel free to leave us a comment or suggestions for more aggressive inline content. Go skate and have some fun.